Welcome back to Two Guys in the Outdoors. This is an exciting show where we talk to a new hunter. He shares how he began the process to learn how to hunt and some of the challenges he went through during his journey. Please subscribe, leave a comment, share with a friend, and like this show.
Welcome back to Two Guys in the Outdoors for our monthly campfire. And I think we got a pretty good show for you guys tonight. We got a guest. Two of our normal people were not able to make it today. Kate and Wendy had other obligations that they had to get to, but we still have Mike and Jason, of course, and then myself. So let's go ahead and get started, and then we'll introduce our guest speaker tonight. So Mike, you want to start us off?
Oh, okay. My name is Mike Norcus. I live down in Colonial Heights. I'm the Prince George County Coordinator for Hunter Education, Vice President for the Virginia Hunter Education Association, a Master Hunter Ed instructor, and one of 4 Master IBEP instructors in the state of Virginia, and the lead archery instructor for the state for DWR down at Holiday Lake when we do our advanced trainings. Avid outdoorsman, travel around the world to hunt, absolutely eat up with it, and I love it.
What'd you do this past week?
This past week was kind of good. Got to go down to Holiday Lake. We did the Hunter Ed Championships down there, so all the state 4-H teams came in. We got the archery range set up, so I'm part of the archery, or the lead guy for the archery team down there, so we set the archery range up for the kids to compete on. And had a great weekend, had 114 kids come through the range, and they had an absolute ball. And then after that, Sunday I left, went straight to the hunt club, went turkey hunting, harvested a nice turkey on Monday, and I'm a happy camper.
There you go. All right, Jason.
Well, Jason Miller, let's just say I love to hunt, period. Yeah. Archery instructor, been a volunteer instructor for many years for the Department of Game, and actually work for those guys part-time now, assist in Region 4. Like Mike and Bob, we were all down at the Hunter Ed Challenge in Appomattox, and unfortunately, I was stuck indoors with scoring and did not get to interact with all the kids and stuff. But hey, somebody's got to enter those scores and do that job as well. So, and this week in the outdoors, haven't done a whole lot. Been busy, just with work and getting caught up with some things. So I didn't do a whole lot in the outdoors, but later in the week, I'm planning on getting after it. So
You were missed on the archery range, buddy.
well, hey, that's will always be near and dear to my heart, man. I love
Hey,
that.
but somebody put a plug in for Hoyt for me, so they put a kid up to it too.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So Luis, you know who I am. But here again, I'm Hunter's Education, just like these guys. Since I talked to you last, I did get my archery instructor license or certification from Mr. Norcus there. So
yeah,
they get to do that. And I was down there with them at Holiday Lake, first time for me. And I'm already chomping at the bit to get back down there this next year. It was a lot of fun. I was actually with the shotgun range, so a little sporting clays. So it was rather neat. And it was really exciting to see them young kids, and when they busted them clays, ranging from first time they ever done it to they're out there watching. Okay, so it was rather exciting.
Some good shooters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's some of them that I don't think I could even come close to.
Yeah.
I mean, we had several, at least in ours, and when I looked at their scorecards, there was very few zeros. on all 5 traps. I mean,
Yeah.
out of five traps, 5 shots at each trap. And there was one or a few kids that there may have been 2 or 3 zeros. It was just amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so with that being said, with me for the outdoors, kind of same thing as Jason. I've been busy with work and family things. I have been trying to play with some of my toys and practicing. Right now, it's time for me to practice. So Luis, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Luis. 36 years old. Don't have any experience with hunting whatsoever. So I just started getting into it just this past year, just at the beginning of the year. Haven't had an opportunity to go out yet, but I did get a chance to take my basic hunter's education class, and then I got connected to you, Bob, through the learnhunting.org website. And so then I've just been bombarding you with questions, getting your input on stuff. Huge fan of the Two Guys in the Outdoors YouTube channel. So I appreciate y'all inviting me out to this campfire.
Awesome. Glad to have you.
Thanks.
Like I said, guys, I don't know if he was lucky enough or unlucky enough.
You're in good hands, Luis.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Yeah, you're lucky. You're lucky. Bob's excited and eager and willing, and you know what? That's all you need, buddy. That's all you need is somebody eager, willing, and excited to help get somebody started, and that's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, that makes me feel a little better.
All right.
And look, if he can't answer questions for you, we know guys that can get an answer too. So
And
Great.
that's why I'm so excited and eager, because I have a very, very good support staff.
yes, you do.
So Luis, okay, you said you just got started this past year, but what turned it on for you? Why did you get started?
I mean, honestly, I grew up, I grew up like in the city, in the suburbs area my entire life. My dad, who worked construction, had a buddy who lived out in Front Royal. So he would take me out there as a kid, and he would talk to me about hunting all the time. I never got an opportunity to go with him, but it was always like a seed had been planted in me that I had always wanted to try that. As I got older, I got more involved in the outdoors, mostly just like hiking and backcountry camping. And so just getting connected to nature really kind of eventually just ended up leading into the hunting path. So, and then I purchased my first firearm just at the beginning of this year. And before I did that, I wanted to make sure I knew why I wanted to purchase a firearm. And one of them was, recreation use, home defense, and it eventually just led into hunting. So I honestly had no idea where to go from there. But obviously it's possible to start from complete scratch and start later in life and, get connected to good guys who are willing to teach you things.
And that's really what we're all about, especially with two guys in the outdoors, as well as the hunter's education program and all that. So, I mean, you mentioned you had your dad's friend. You said he was into hunting and stuff like that. So I'm sure he told you a lot of good stories, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, it wasn't even just stories. Like sometimes, as a kid who grew up like in the suburbs, just playing basketball or soccer or something like that, I wasn't used to seeing just like deer hanging, from places. So it kind of freaked me out at first.
Really? In the
yeah,
suburbs?
I was like, whoa, I've never really seen that before. I thought it was like illegal or something, but he sat and he told me, yeah, I love to go hunting, and I just always thought in the back of my mind, like I hope to do that someday when I grow up. And so I'm still looking forward to that opportunity. But I never really realized how much knowledge has to go into it first.
So you never did get a chance to go out with him?
No, no, unfortunately, I mean, I was a kid. He had passed away before I got old enough to really connect with him in that way. And that's something that I wish I had asked him for. So it's always kind of been like a childhood, I don't want to say like a dream, but it's always been something I've wanted to do since childhood. And now that I'm old enough, I realize I could pursue that on my own. The only problem was I was like, well, he's not around anymore, so I don't know who to ask.
Right.
I didn't grow up in a hunting family. I didn't grow up with anybody that knew how to hunt. So that was a challenge for me.
Okay,
How'd
so
you,
you
how,
go ahead.
how'd you find out about the mentor program?
Honestly, so what I did was I just went to Google and I typed in how to start hunting. And the piece that I got was it just gave me two things. It said, sign up for a basic hunter's education class and find a mentor. And then that naturally took me to how do you find a mentor for hunting? That's what I typed into Google. And one of the first sites that, I looked through some and I wanted to make sure I wasn't linking up with any shady characters or anything like that. And then I looked up.
And now you're stuck with us.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. So obviously that didn't work out. No, I'm just kidding. So I found this website called learnhunting.org. And basically I created a profile and I just put it out there like, hey, this is what I'm trying to learn how to do. And then Bob reached out to me. I got a message on that platform. And I really liked the way that it worked out because we set up a Zoom call. So it was just a safe, facilitated way to have a conversation and just kind of gauge where you're at. This is safe for both people. And I had a great conversation. By the end of that conversation, we had exchanged numbers and he just started throwing a bunch of information at me that I didn't know how to access before. And then that's how eventually, that was like at the beginning of February. And then by the end of February, I had already signed up for a basic hunter's education class. But then he reached out to me and said, hey, I'm actually going to be teaching a class with my buddy Jason. So why don't you come on down and sign up for that class and then we could actually meet in person. So I signed up for that class and that was like the next step. So that's how I got connected to finding a mentor.
That's pretty cool because I am also one of my many hats is I'm on the instructor advisory committee for the International Hunter Education Association, and we developed that learnhunt.org site along with along with the Connect thing through the International Hunter Education Association. So it's cool that you do that because I recently had an individual from up in the Manassas area, actually from South Africa, reached out to get connected to do some turkey hunting and learn about turkey hunting. And then unfortunately my time's limited with working part-time in a bow shop now. And so we couldn't get connected, but we're going to stay in contact via email and stuff because he's only here for a year, but he's going to come back to work next year. So I told him we'd hook up and I'd get him out turkey hunting in, but it was kind of neat to be able to connect through that site to do that.
Yeah, no, it's a great resource. I appreciate you putting that together because like for myself, somebody who didn't grow up in this culture or learning, how to hunt or not coming from a hunting family. I mean, just the idea of getting into hunting, I talked to some of my friends and then they were like, dude, do you even know anybody who does that? And I'm like, no, not really, but there's communities out there that you could connect to online. And then, one thing leads to another, to another, to another. And it's been a good process so far.
So are your friends interested in hunting, or are they kind of waiting to see how it turns out for you before they get involved?
I think they're waiting to see how it turns out for me. I grew up like in the Falls Church area.
Right.
So it's a very foreign concept, it's kind of like, oh, there's people out there who do that. And,
Right.
and so, but I was like, no, that's something that I really want to get connected to. Because I also, just as a man, I also thought, well, being able to provide is one of the core values of a man. And so I was like, already connecting to the outdoors through hiking and camping. I mean, that's something that I do solo as well. I don't necessarily recommend it all the time, but I mean, I don't really have a lot of people who are into what I'm into. So I usually have to go at it alone. But in connecting with the outdoors, I just kind of started really valuing more primitive experiences with the outdoors. I went from camping at campsites, where they have the little fire pits for you and you're next to families that are playing music and,
Yeah.
that's great and everything. But I really kind of just started slowly going further and further into the outdoors. And then that's what really started making me want to connect with nature and the outdoors a lot more. And there's something, very primitive about it that just kind of, in my personal opinion, speaks to the core values of being a man.
Yeah.
Well, we might
Yeah.
just have to do this a double duty where you're my mentor for the backwoods camping stuff, because I've always wanted to do that. And then if
Yeah.
we combine them together, where we're hiking way back into the national parks, into the public areas, and hunt way back in the back.
Well, you can go with me to Colorado elk hunting because we go way up.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I had my, I don't know. Bob did say that, once you get started in this, you get sucked in, and
Oh, it's
one thing leads
addictive.
to another. Yeah. And it does. And I was backcountry camping one time, and I had my first experience where I ran into a black bear. And just, it wasn't like the first thought that came to my mind was like, oh, I want to hunt this animal. But I just felt like this, I had never been, in such connection with like nature in that way before, almost to the point where it kind of surpassed this place of fear. And it was almost like, wow, this is almost like majestic.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of wanted to find ways to immerse myself even more in that entire like process of just nature.
I like Jason, the way Jason puts it. He said it's spiritual.
Exactly.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I'm sitting here listening to you talk, and I'm trying to think. I don't think I know anybody that doesn't hunt.
Yeah,
So-
I'm the same way.
Yeah, that's foreign to me. Like, that blows my mind. Like, I can't think of a single person other than you guys who I'm talking to right now who actually do hunt. So I'm super grateful to be invited to this campfire and to start making connections to others.
Well, yeah,
I'm in between them. I do know a lot of people that don't hunt, and I know a lot of people that do hunt. So I'm the bridge between these guys.
well, I tell people all the time, and listening to you kind of explain, that manhood and just the connecting with nature. I tell people all the time, for me, it's a, I'll be honest with you, and it gives me cold chills to even talk about it, but the crazy world we live in, the rat race, the just living. When I go outdoors, I feel free.
Yeah.
I'm no longer enslaved to a job or whatever it is. I just feel free, and it's a feeling that just you cannot explain to a non-hunter. You know what I mean? Just like you seeing that bear, you're going to see things and experience things that people can only watch on National Geographic or the History Channel or something. But when you get to see it for yourself, man, just like you're talking about that black bear, it does. It takes you to another part, and you really connect. So I'm glad to hear you say that. That's awesome.
It is.
It kind of goes with that conversation, Jason, you and I have. How do you measure success as a hunter? And it's getting out there and actually seeing this stuff, not necessarily, the amount of pounds, the number of hits, or the inches, of the antlers. It's all about, what did I learn today? What did I get to see that I wouldn't normally get to see? Like with me, I'll be honest, I'm excited about something that doesn't even pertain to hunting that I was able to do. I got over my fear of heights, just because I'm hunting up in a tree stand, to the point that I'm going to try to do saddle hunting, which I never thought. I still remember the day asking Jason, hey, somebody that's scared of heights, can he do this saddle hunting? And his first word, no. Try it. And now I'm trying it, right? So it's kind of neat how you measure the wins differently when you get that frame of mind, like what you're talking about, Luis. When it is, a religion, it's a spiritual way of thinking. You measure things
Providing.
totally different. Yeah, it's kind of neat. So
Yeah, no, I don't, I mean, you stop me if I'm jumping ahead or anything, but you had mentioned how, like, you have a fear, like, of heights, and that kind of brought you to a place where you had to, like, look at that. I am curious, like, as a person who's never done this before, talking to a bunch of people who are experienced at this, like, I mean, my fear going into this, which I think I would think that a lot of other brand new, like, amateurs could resonate with this, is that, like, I'm initially, my fear is, like, taking that shot, um, and not taking it per se, but, like, messing it up, and just causing unnecessary suffering. I don't know how to do that. I don't know what that's like, but I'm wondering if that was the experience for you all, the first time you took, your first shot, and then also as experienced hunters, like, what exactly, I mean, do you still have any fears?
go ahead,
Can I go
Jason.
first? I'm gonna go first here. Um, I I'm gonna be honest with you. There was never a fear. I grew up in rural Rockingham County. My family, we raised chickens and hogs. So I grew up chopping the heads off chickens, right? I grew up butchering the hogs that we raised from piglets. So I knew where our food was coming from. I knew chicken nuggets was a feathery backyard creature that grew in my yard. So it never was that fear. But there's always that respect. There's always that excitement. And a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot, but you have those people out there, and they think, well, hunters are nothing but bloodthirsty, evil people or whatever. And that is not the case. We know where our food comes from. Just like you, we want to provide for our families. We want to take those natural renewable resources that are organic. You know what I mean? Harvesting a deer or a bear or a turkey or a squirrel or a rabbit in the outdoors in their natural habitat, in my mind, has got to be way more ethical than a hog or a cow that's being fed in a slaughterhouse for a week prior to slaughter. You know what I mean? It's just, and here's another thing, and then I'll be quiet and let other people talk. If it wouldn't be for hunters, we wouldn't have deer. We wouldn't have bear. We wouldn't have turkeys. We wouldn't have ducks. If it wasn't for the revenue, the money that is brought in from hunters, then nobody else would get to enjoy seeing them or whatever the case may be. So I'm passionate. And when I say passionate, I am very passionate about the outdoors. And it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be scared. That is normal.
Yep.
Um,
The day you're not, when you take the shot, you need to put it down and quit. It should be exciting every time you pull the trigger or pull that bow back.
Well, Mike, did you have something that you wanted to share on that?
No, I'm like Jason. I grew up on a farm, so I mean, harvesting animals wasn't, it was just a necessity of life. We were providing food for the family. And then we always hunted. I mean, I started out rabbit and squirrel hunting with my dad and my granddad, and kind of graduated from there to deer hunting when I got a little older. And then after I got into the military and started traveling a bit, then I got I was really into it. And I mean, all my buddies thought I was nuts because I bow hunted and then started traveling around the world to bow hunt. So it was like, this is a pretty cool deal here. And when you go places like Africa and, you harvest an animal over there, you can't bring the meat back. So we get to taste the meat and camp that night, and the rest gets donated to a local village. Nothing goes to waste over there. So it's pretty cool, But to this day, I get excited on every shot I take. I got to calm myself down, and I'm 70 years old. So it's one of those things that as long as you
Yeah.
stay excited about it, it'll go good for you. So you'll have those. And I will tell you, Luis, you will have. If you mess up a shot, that's part of hunting. But you always learn from it. That's the thing. And that's where practice comes in, especially as a bow hunter. Practice, practice. Because bow hunting, to me, it's a perishable skill. I shoot every day. I shoot 20 arrows a day. I've been doing that almost since I was 14. So that's been a while. So, but I shoot every day. So, but I absolutely eat up with bow hunting. So, not that I won't gun hunt or shotgun hunt. I will, or muzzle loader. I'll pick it up a day or two during the year. But 9 times out of 10, I'm going to pick my bow up and go. So
Luis, I relate to what you're saying. Okay. I grew up on a farm and I butchered and I hunted early in life. And I still remember the skinning board that we had for rabbits and all that stuff. But I know what you're talking about. You're sitting there and there's this majestic creature out there and you're pointing at it, am I going to be able to make this shot? Right. If you have a doubt, this is the way I live mine. Okay. This is the way I do it. If you have a doubt, that's that little bit of doubt, don't take the shot. It'll come back.
Okay? I've let Hope and Youngs walk before because I wasn't sure of my shot.
This past season, basically I got skunked this past season. I let several of them walk by. My stand was not in a good place this year. It was the previous year, but it wasn't this year. The only real good deer that I had was about a 30-yard shot, and I could have made that shot, but it was going through about a 8-inch window. That was about 5 to 10 feet from the deer. I didn't want to take a chance, so I just let it walk. It'll come by again someday. Yeah, I got skunked this season. Okay, but I had a heck of a good time. I learned a lot, and I still had fun. I walked away. That day. I walked out of the woods just beaming and smiling because you know what I did? What else I seen? I seen 2 little foxes walk right underneath my stand. I had never seen a fox in real life before. It was so cool. So yeah, that's my advice. I don't know, Jason, if you agree with that. If you're in doubt, let it pass.
Yeah, just take the pass.
Yeah.
You'll have other opportunities.
Yeah.
And for a new hunter, because I've mentored a lot of kids, some young adults, and I've had some of those kids, some of those young adults, and there's the opportunity. It's there, and they select not to shoot. They just don't. I don't know if it's they didn't want to harvest that animal or whatever. So yeah, Luis, it's okay, man. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be scared. It's okay not to shoot.
Yeah.
Well,
and you don't have to measure success by the number of inches or the size of the animal either. I'm just as happy shooting a doe with my bow as I am a nice buck. So
I will not take your man card if you don't shoot. I promise.
Well, I think that's what I really appreciate about this conversation, and getting invited to the Campfire, because I feel like, as I scanned like YouTube and I did a bunch of things to try to like, tap into different sources to learn, I didn't really hear from like amateur hunters, or like people that hadn't even really gotten into it. You hear from a lot of experienced people. But what I think is unique about this is like getting an opportunity to have a conversation for other people who are like me, who are interested in it, who probably have the same fears, the same reservations, the same confusions, but to hear a dialogue between an experienced hunter and somebody who hasn't even really been out there yet. So that's something that I really like about this conversation, is because I feel like I if I was scanning through YouTube and I came across like, two guys in the outdoors and I saw that this campfire was happening and I sat in and listened in, I'd be like, I really appreciate this conversation, because it's nice to hear people who have been doing this for a long time and somebody who hasn't even done this yet, because I can hear them interact with each other, versus like, hey, like here's all these like experienced people that are talking about these things that they've been doing for years.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna give you one tip. And if you contact me if Bob gets out of hand, and here's my thing, and I preach it and I preach it and I preach it. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
You don't need a ton of money wrapped up in equipment. Keep it simple. Bob, keep it simple with this guy.
He did tell me that, though. He did tell me that, because when in getting into like backpacking and stuff, I went down this rabbit hole of, I got to get the greatest gear, the most ultralight stuff. I got to get all this really cool stuff. But then I realized I'm so wrapped up in wanting to get all the right gear that I'm preparing for an adventure I'm not even taking.
I love it. I'm going to
and
start using that. Can I steal that?
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that right there is perfect. You get so wrapped up in your equipment for an adventure that you haven't even taken. Take the adventure first, and then start to better your equipment if you see the need. So yeah.
And the other thing is, you don't have to spend all that money right up front either. You if you want to upgrade equipment as you go along, that's the way to do it. You can find, when I first started out hunting, it was in blue jeans and an old Army field jacket that my dad had. So I've gone the whole gamut from blue jeans and Army jacket to Kuiu and Siki gear now. I've been through it all. Just be careful what you buy and research when you buy it, because you don't want cotton. Definitely stay away from cotton. I will tell you that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I hate to cut this off, but we only got a few minutes here, and I do want to give Luis one thing, a chance to say one thing. If you could give anybody some piece of advice, a new hunter like yourself, okay, what is the one key piece of advice would you give them?
Check out this amazing YouTube channel called Two Guys in the Outdoors. No, honestly, I think it's just like, just get connected, like find a tribe, because that's what's going to provide you with the hands-on experience, where you're going to get the opportunity to gain the knowledge that you need, but then also have hands-on experience, but in a controlled way that's going to allow you to alleviate yourself from any stress or anything that you're concerned about or confused about, and then also actually gets you out there, because I realized it's kind of two parts. I was like, I gotta get my mind ready, and I gotta get all the knowledge, which is kind of the hard part, but also the fun part about all this, is learning all of it. But then there's actually getting out there. So I think my one piece of advice is, get connected to a group of people, and there are avenues out there like this one to do that.
Great. Okay, so we got 2 minutes, so we're gonna have to sign off here. So go ahead, Jason.
One thing, Mike just said he's 70 years old and he learns every time he goes in the outdoors. I've been hunting my entire life. I learn. You don't have to learn everything, Luis, first. You know what I mean? Learn as you go and experience those things, and
It's the
Yeah.
journey.
keep it simple and have fun.
There you go. I agree.
What do you want to sign off with?
Oh,
You.
no, I just said, like Jason said, keep it simple and keep trying. That's the thing. Don't get discouraged, especially if you get out on your first hunt. Just don't get discouraged. Learn from your experience and you take that back to the field the next time, and it'll make you a much better hunter.
Yep. And what I'll say is this is a journey. This isn't a sprint. So get out in the outdoors and have fun. So thank you, everybody.
Yep.
So,
See ya.
Luis,
Thanks,
special
guys.
thanks to you.
Yep.
Thanks
Thanks,
for
Luis.
inviting me.
Yep. Good luck.
Nice
Thanks so
meeting you.
much.
Goodbye.
All right. See y'all later.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Leave a comment. Share with a friend. And like this show.